Let us calculate depreciation in Excel using the straight line method. Assuming that we're going to be buying a car in our company at a cost of 50 million. So I come over here and put 50 million as our original cost right there. Okay. Now let's also assume that the salvage value, or we shall be selling off this car at the end of its useful life at 15 million. So I also print 15 million in here. All right. Let's also assume that the useful life is going to be 5 years. So I put 5 years in here. Now what we need to do is to populate this table so that we can know in the first year what will be our end book value. And of course, the straight line method of depreciation calculation is the simplest because the depreciation cost is always constant for each individual period. Now, let us actually calculate this depreciation cost for each individual period. We can do this in two simple methods. The first one, we can come here and say equals, open brackets, we just say the original cost minus our salvage value, close brackets, and we divide the results of this particular calculation by the useful life. So when I hit enter key, I get 7 million. So 7 million will be our depreciation expense for each individual period. We can also do this using, or calculate this value using the SLN function. So I'll come here and say equals SLN. So this is the straight line function in Excel. So it requires that you give the cost, comma, the salvage, which is right here, comma, and the useful life that has been given, close off the SLN function, and hit enter key on the keyboard. This similarly gives us the same depreciation expense. So I'll get rid of this value and populate all the periods. So I'll point to this cell, enter, and now I can drag this formula to the rest of the cells because this particular cost is gonna remain constant. Now to complete this entire table, what we need to do is to actually bring in our start book value for the first period. This will simply be our original cost. So I point to B5 and hit enter key on the keyboard. Let us find out what will be the accumulated depreciation in the first period. Of course, this is gonna be this particular value because that's what has so far depreciated, and our end book value will simply be equals to the start book value minus the depreciation expense. Hit enter key on the keyboard. This gives us 43 million as our end book value in the first period. Now when it comes to the second period, this will simply be equal to the end book value of our first period. Enter. So this one becomes our start book value in the second period. And what I need to do is to calculate the accumulated depreciation, which will simply be equals to the depreciation in the first period plus the depreciation in the second period. Enter on the keyboard. This gives us 14 million. And what will be our end book value for the second period? This will simply be equals to the start book value at the second period minus the depreciation expense. Enter on the keyboard. This gives us 36 million as end book value for the second period. Now at this point, I can actually drag this formula to the rest of the cells. And there you go. I can also drag this particular formula to the rest of the cells. And there you go. Let's also drag the formula for our end book values. And there you go. You can see now our end book value at the end of the useful life of this particular asset is equal to our salvage value.